Hello everyone, how are you? Gabs here, Digital Beer Stream. Woo! After a long time, very happy to start you back with this beautiful experience that it gave me so many satisfaction. It made me make so many friends during the lockdown, and many of you told me that it was good fun. So, welcome to Digital Beer Stream second season. This is the second episode of the second season. We had last week, a couple of days ago, Mother Kelly's. We had the beautiful Nigel and the beautiful Natasha from the team. Natasha also worked with me to some different projects of What's in the Glass. And let me tell you what What's in the Glass is about, and let me tell you what Digital Beer Stream is about. So, What's in the Glass is an experience that started in early 2020, and we wanted to connect with as many beer people, as many beer passionate people, anyway, with the industry and beyond. And we started with some live streams on Instagram. It was a real good fun. It was brilliant. Again, we did 48 different ones, and we end up to create a community around it. So there is now a Facebook group. There are different pages. There is a website that you can find all you're looking for along all of these platforms. And the project went so well, then we end up to win a prize for it from the British Guild of Beer Writers. So it was brilliant, and we while we are in another lockdown, we felt it was probably the best idea to restart it again. And again, different platform. Here's a bit more professional. We have a horizontal landscape, so it's more fruitable for everyone. And we also have great ideas to have on board a beautiful a bunch of guests. So let's remember the main thing in here is to be hear all the experiences of different businesses, from bottle shop to breweries, from pubs to beer experts or writers or journalists, whatever you want. And another important thing is drink good beer, like this lovely Pomona Island. Then I actually purchased yesterday from a beautiful bottle shop in Hackney called Binge, for whoever lives around East London. So I'm gonna drink this because I don't normally drink lots of pale, with a lovely glass from my mate Craft Diary. So give me just a second, and I'm gonna tell you what's happening today. So before, we used to have a interesting format where we were splitting guests by different type of businesses. For right now, we're just having good guests, and we are chatting about their experience so far with these very, very unusual times that we live. So if you let me introduce you the guest for today, we're going to have the beautiful Anne-Marie from the Grumpy Goat in Reading. If you haven't been to Reading before, I really recommend you because it's a cute, lovely place. And for you all beautiful beer people, there is a lot to explore. And I'm not going to tell you too much about the shop because Anne-Marie is going to tell us. And they also are the founders with Charlie, the co-founder. They also are founders of the Craft Theory Festival, which is a well-established occasion for the Reading beer community to meet together. So if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to invite Anne-Marie to the stream. Hello, Anne-Marie.
Hi. Hello. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Yeah, good. I've got a beer, obviously. Drinking our sort of collaboration we did with Double Barreled.
Lovely.
Just before Christmas when we opened up our new shop.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely sort of hazy pale. Using a Sabro hop, covering my face and my beard. That's okay. Yeah, it's been a winner, and people are coming back and buying more and more, and wanting to know if there's going to be a rebrew. Spoken to Lucy and Mike at Double Barreled, and it might be something we do. Might keep sort of a house beer rolling into the shop, and maybe do a sort of changing sort of hop series with it. So. Yeah.
That's lovely, and with a nice glass as well. I just realised.
Yeah, this is actually our old branding. We've got a sort of we're changing it up with that sort of some just changing to the goat and keeping it sort of simple.
Yeah.
We've also got the goat guy, and he's a bit more of a person these days. He's very approachable. He knows his stuff about craft beer and cheese and spirits, because they're the other things we sell as well. So yeah, we wanted to make him a sort of a bit more human.
Definitely, 100%.
So yeah, a little bit about the Grumpy Goat.
Please go ahead. Cheers first.
Yeah, and absolute cheers, and thank you for having me on, Gabs. It's real pleasure, and it's really nice to be talking to everyone. So the Grumpy Goat set up in December 2013. A silly idea, we were sat in a pub, myself and my partner Charlie, thinking, we want to work for ourselves. We want to do something interesting. Both really interested in beer, both really interested in cheese at the time, interested in good food, and then just decided that, let's set up a coffee shop. There isn't anything like it in Reading. Let's set up a beer and coffee shop. And then I had sort of brainwave about where it might be, because the costs of setting up a small business are still, as I'm sure you can imagine, lots of people on this stream can imagine, are pretty substantial. So trying to think about those things and sort of making it the best space we could at the time. So luckily, we've been operating 7 years. So 2013, we're now into our 8th year of business, which is like amazing. Thank you, Reading and beyond. You have been wonderful, and we've had sort of the best time, and we're still having the best time. And we're hugely lucky to own an independent business in Reading, because there's a lot of there's not a huge amount of independent, but it's growing, and we've seen it grow in the last 7 years, which has been hugely exciting.
I have people telling me that Reading is on the beer map for a reason or another. Like, it's a destination. Even Londoners, with the choice that is possible to find in this city, are moving to Reading and for a day or for a weekend to have a look, explore. Do you confirm me that? Is it happening?
Absolutely. I mean, we set up at a similar time to Siren Craft Brew. Obviously, they're just outside of Reading, Finchampstead. That was. We started at the same time, and I remember the sales rep at the time coming in with the Siren range and like, would you like to buy our beer? And like, yeah, tastes great, of course we would. And from then it's just really evolved, and it's sort of it's just getting better and better. I mean, you've got locally we've got so very traditional brewery, West Berkshire Brewery, making a very sort of solid bitter, known locally very well. You've got Wild Weather doing something a bit more wacky on the sort of the edge of Reading, and then more recently, we've got the likes of Elusive set up on the same site as Siren as well. And Mr. Parker, he's very well known in the industry. I'm sure Mr. Nice, he's known as.
But hey, if you remind me as well, what was the first Siren beer that has been offered to you to buy and then to sell in your shop? I will be so curious, because I remember all of them almost. Do you remember what was?
Yeah, well, the core range. I mean, I think for me, Broken Dream. Like Broken Dream, it's still a winner. They've sort of updated the recipe sort of over the years. And I remember a couple of years back, well, maybe like, I don't know, probably a little while back now, 3 or 4 years. Time's been a bit strange. They did sort of a tap takeover, and they, I think they introduced a new chocolate or new cacao, some cacao nibs, a new coffee, and I couldn't believe how good it tasted on cask. I probably, had about 3 or 4 just to check.
I'm telling you, that is a type of beer that if it's on cask, I'm in trouble, because there is no way I'm going to skip it. There is no way, no matter which number of pints of the day, of the evening is here. That's what's going to happen. But I'm really curious to hear, as well, like what kind of experience you went through in these last months, because it's. We always want to look, in advance, in the future, but it's always very good to understand what the situation are from beer businesses and everything. So the first question, if you don't mind, will be how was the pandemic impacted you? You know, a very simple one.
I think it's been it's been I think I'm going to say it's been a roller coaster. And I think that's a really good way to sort of, and I think, you know, that's a good way to look at it. The start of last year, this time last year, I was getting ready to go on a trip to India.
Wow.
Traveled around India for myself and my business partner Charlie. We traveled around India for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks.
Just for pleasure?
So just for pleasure, yeah. I was
Cool.
wanting to go to India, like sort of checked out a few sort of craft beers along the way. And we got back 2 weeks before lockdown hit. So it was like, wow, you know, my first real sort of justification of it being very serious was I was, you know, in India reading a newspaper, and it said, you know, okay, we don't want Indians to travel to Italy. And I was just like, what? You know, when you're on holiday, you don't really sort of take in the news. You're on holiday, so you're not, you know, really reading the news. And I thought, wow, this is a sort of a serious thing. What's more interesting, just the year before, in 2019, at the end of 2019, Charlie and I were cheese judges at the World Cheese Awards in Bergamo.
So that's brilliant.
Yeah, it was, you know, we've been cheese judges a few times, World Cheese Judges in London and then in Bergamo. But it was just so bizarre that we'd been there, and then now this was the epicenter of Europe, and it was, you know, yeah. And when we got back from India, we saw, you know, what the impact sort of the pandemic was starting to become. And I think, you know, you either sit there and go, okay, or you go, okay. And so
I'm feeling like you were trying to find, I don't want to say the positive side of it, but I'm sure you've been more proactive rather than, you know, like scared in a way. Am I saying right?
Absolutely. I think, you know, we were recharged from that holiday we had. You know, like 2 weeks before, we'd been sitting on a beach in Goa.
Wow.
You know, and then we came back, and it was just like, wow, okay, this is serious. This is, you know, pretty crazy. As I say, we hadn't really paid attention too much because we were on holiday.
Yep.
So we decided that, you know, we could have remained open for that period, but we decided to close the shop to customers coming in, and we went to delivery only, which was something that was, you know, we'd never done before, was a bit scary. At that point, we didn't even have our web shop up, because our shop was, sort of pretty small, and we were still, you know, reliant on that. You know, we had that customer base that came through, and that's the sort of shop we were. So Charlie
This is not a new thing. This is not a completely new thing, actually. I heard many shops, especially outside London, didn't even think about the possibilities of having a web shop up and running. Interesting.
Yeah, so it was something we were working on it in the background, but as soon as sort of the pandemic sort of hit, that working on in the background really sped up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So at the moment we have sort of a web shop where you can sort of order monthly boxes, you can order cheese boxes. And at that time, in the first lockdown, we decided we wanted to put a smile on everyone's face as much as possible. And we, you know, our business is called the Grumpy Goat. We changed them to Happy Goat boxes, and it was kind of like, it was a little bit cheesy, but it worked. And you know,
it's good.
And we had a little note on the box saying, "We hope this box puts a smile on your face." And
yeah,
we had a really good response from that. So that was really nice. Yeah.
Lovely to hear. Well, you know, I love the fact that many businesses manage to adapt themselves on you know, in the situation that they were thinking it was the most appropriate for them. And you know, like being in the area where you are, I'm telling you, I know people in London relying on what do you decide to sell. What kind of products are you putting on the online, you know, web, like social media and stuff. So if someone will tell you that you had to radically change the shop, what is the percentage? Like, did you adapt the shop from the current situation, by
Yeah.
50%, 40, 60 more?
I don't know, 60-70%, I guess, because
Wow.
all of a sudden we're doing delivery only. All of a sudden, is it safe to have staff in the shop the way we had it before?
Right.
Myself and Charlie at the time decided it was we went to just me and Charlie working, and then we slowly brought people back to help us out with deliveries. So that sort of worked. But yeah, that's the thing. I think that's the thing with the pandemic. You've got to be constantly thinking on your feet. Like, you've got to be thinking what's coming next, and how you've got to be. I think you've got to be reading the news, understanding the news, and for me, I think being one step ahead of the supermarkets. And what?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's not the right thing to be saying, but yeah.
You can say whatever you want, and I agree with you. So please.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was just you had to adapt. So we when things were relaxed again, and you had to have sort of the whole COVID, the screens, the sanitizer. You had to make sure everything was absolutely. That's the kind of business we are as well. It's making
Definitely.
sure your customer feels happy and satisfied from the moment they even click on your website or see your social media or walk through your door. And we're 7 years old. We've got a very loyal customer base in Reading, and we want to retain that, and we want people to feel comfortable with us.
Yeah.
And that became sort of very important very, very quickly. And yeah, you just have to adapt. You can't be doing things you can't do things half-heartedly. It's not in our nature, and it's
And I don't know if you have the chance to read comments while we are chatting, but there is a lovely comment from JP Round saying, "We love the Grumpy Goat. Thanks for the beer and cheese deliveries through 2020." And there is another lovely message from Matt Biska. He say, "Always felt safe in the store." And then Natasha say hi.
Thanks, guys. Really
you
kind.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is like when you're doing well, and when you let the people feel safe and loved, and you're having what you're looking for, like satisfaction and good feedbacks. This is brilliant. And like, I've been chatting a lot with pubs and managers of pubs, area managers, owners, and it's been an interesting one because they were telling me the difficulties of running a pub through all of this period of time. And as a craft beer like shop, and also like cheese shop, but we're here talking about beer, so I would rather like explore that side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you have difficulties to speak with breweries, get the products that you were looking for, find the right beers, or put your hands on a good stock of cans? How was the?
Yes, I think there has been definitely some dry patches. You had breweries that stopped production. You just did. Yeah, it became a little bit difficult. I think we've evolved and we've adapted, and there's been some amazing beers brought out. In 2020, now in 2021. Just to point out a favourite brewery of mine from I'm covering my face again with beer, and from 2020 is St. Mars of the Desert in Sheffield. Fantastic. And Sheffield's a city I've never been to. I'm so excited to go there because I know they have an amazing beer scene. I know they have some amazing festivals, amazing bottle shops. And, this brewery has a log burner in their tap room. Hello?
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, literally making some fantastic pale ales. I'm really, and I think their branding's just refreshing, we were talking before the chat, and yeah, I just think they're doing something pretty interesting, and super nice people.
If you do have a bottle shop and you are judging a can or bottle design as interesting, I trust you because you see so many different labels around you. So definitely, I agree with that. And you know, when you are going into a situation like this, and you definitely have many shelves and many fridges in your shop, as you definitely have.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are gonna be many breweries trying to find their own space in your shop. And I always been very curious to hear what is the mentality that it make bottle shop, or in this case bottle shop owners, decide what actual products going to stock. Can you give me can you give breweries a brief idea about what a brewery that you would like to stock or that you stock already should act like, what kind of products and all the rest? I'm really interested about that.
I think for me, as a sort of, I do all the buying in the shop. I'm the main buyer. Lucky me. It is, yeah, I love that part of the job. I really do. And it's so important to be understanding the market, reaching out, discovering new breweries. But what I do think is really interesting, you've obviously got your hype beers, and we were talking about Putty earlier, and and Verdant, and you have these massive hype beers. It's always important to stock those, but it's also important, I think, hugely to listen to what your customers are saying. I think they. If there's a recommendation, we're always very open in that sort of scenario. And then I think the other element of the scale is sort of reaching out. So I think Instagram is a fantastic tool to see what is going on, see those visuals, see how people are doing things, and get a feel for what's happening out there, whether it's in this country, whether it's on the continent, or in America, or where it might be, Australia. And I think you need to be sort of doing that to sort of really sort of twist in that sort of that mixture of having this, like, these great beers, and that's, for me, now we have the new bigger shop. I've got more fridges to fill. So I'm just super excited, sort of reaching out and finding out, about new small breweries, and and it's, I think it's a mixture of everything that brings a really, really sort of great bottle shop together. That's my opinion.
Oh well, let me put in this way. That I love the fact that potentially you could really put a brewery in the map, helping them and giving them space and giving them like a stage. I remember in some of the craft beer spots between breweries and bottle shops and pubs that work. I remember having this very like strong relation with a producer, a brewery, a home brewer, or a cidery, and it was brilliant because they were calling you, telling you that they were going to produce a Vienna lager, and you were like, "Woo, you really? This is what you're gonna do? Brilliant! I can't wait to stock, and try and put it on draft." Because I'm sure there's gonna be more people thinking, for obvious reasons, to start a bottle shop or open their own, idea of a bottle shop everywhere in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you have advices for them? Like, what a good bottle shop should do to start with, or whatever you want to say?
I think from my perspective, I think we started sort of, with a smaller range, and it's about building into that range, whether it be the beer or the cheese or the spirits, and just really understanding what your customer base is. And, I think that may change now as we move. We're having a new website built, and that'll be going national pretty soon. But I think
Nice.
you really need to
Well
understand your customer base, and I think understanding and relating to your customer base is one of your best tools to managing a good bottle shop. They will tell you. They will tell you if what you need to be doing, and you need to be listening. You need to, and I think that's really. And those, you talked about relationships with the producers, Gabs. I think those relationships with your customers is absolutely paramount to to the sustainability of your business. And throughout this pandemic, it's those people who choose to shop independently as opposed to shopping. The craft beer, it has improved in supermarkets, as we know.
Yeah.
But as you know, bottle shops, independent bottle shops, are always going to have that access to those tiny little breweries, and there's always going to be that new guy. We're always going to have those interesting things coming through the door, and that's what we work really hard at, making sure we're reaching and getting those products to the people that really appreciate them. So
that's brilliant. And I'm also aware, as I said at the beginning for the presentation of our guest for today, that you also are founders of a festival in Reading, Craft Theory.
Yeah.
May I ask you a bit more about Craft Theory and what it's all about?
Yeah, sure. It's been a fantastic project. It's been so well received in Reading. We run it through an arts centre called South Street Arts, who sort of have an interesting sort of programme of live events like music, comedy, theatre. John Luther, who's the manager there, he's fantastic, and we've worked very closely with him on creating Craft Theory. So myself and Charlie have worked really closely with John, and we've hosted some we've had locally, obviously we've had the Siren double-barreled, Wild Weather. Internationally, we've had Butcher's Tears, Tuwal, Demolan. We've had some great names, through the door, and we've got this really nice sort of, we've got this really nice dynamic with the festival, and it's a beer and music festival, actually, just to put it out there. And we've had DJs, live acts, obviously the usual street food that's worked pretty well. Last year we had to cancel it, and as we all know.
Yep.
We've cancelled. We thought we'd put a date in the diary for this year, which was in April. The second weekend in April. I've totally forgotten the date, so I'm going to have to look up.
Let me think.
What's the second? I'm gonna.
Something around like 12 or 14. No, don't worry about it. You can write it down later.
You're right. It was the 12th to the 14th of April. This is what the pandemic's done to my brain. We just don't know. So we've sadly cancelled the festival this year, which was it just felt it felt like we had a Zoom call with John last week, and it felt like a really sad thing to have to do. But since then, my brain has gone into right, what can we do?
We're making do something.
Not 100%, but thinking about putting on a virtual Craft Theory, which I was just talking to you, Gabs, before we came on air, and I think why not? We're in this very strange situation, and again, it's if we go back to the idea of the happy goat box, I just want to make people happy. Like it should be. Let's do something nice. It's hugely tough times for all of us at the moment, and if we can put on a great festival and make that work digitally, I would feel so happy that we were able to provide something to everyone that really loves Craft Theory. So yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. Rob Ellis says, "Great shop. Reading needs like this." So he's definitely love the shop. And also we have Ken Thornhill saying, "Absolutely love Craft Theory. Just the right size for a festival." And we have Daniele from Aura saying, "You had brew heads too." So someone remember the brews that you had at the festival. So again, you see, this is all about I've been trying to connect as much as I could within the industry, and pubs and bottle shops. As I said, for me, this is so important because craft beer is a community, and we have to support each other and let everyone knows how beautiful the products that we are that we're selling and we're drinking
Absolutely.
and we're supporting are, and how many beautiful people you can find into it.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
It's a
and
great industry full of so much creativity, so much enthusiasm. And I think the pandemic has shown how creative we can be.
yep,
My brain's starting to spiral with different events and things like that. Um, Myself and Natasha Wolf, I think will be, and we need to add that to our diary events, but on the 27th of Feb, we're going to be doing a beer and chocolate one, as well as our Siren Beer and cheese one. But also an interesting one I've been thinking about doing, because a customer told me a while ago, he went to a craft beer festival in Boston, and it was a craft beer and dessert festival. So potentially, I thought we could work with like a local baker, have a series of desserts, small desserts that link with a particular beer.
I don't know if we're talking about the same, but I saw one which was a pastry stout festival. I think it was maybe run by Other Half Brewery, or maybe with someone related to. But can you imagine like an entire festival made up of big double IPA, big stouts, and luscious desserts? I mean, like, whoa,
amazing,
wow,
yeah.
I would love to.
I think it's just like trying out, it's trying out different things. I mean, I did in January we did an alcohol-free Zoom tasting, which was, it's just let's try things. Let's just see what happens, and let's just talk to people, work together and make something interesting.
As I said, Digital Beer Stream starting officially in its regular way today. It's going to be every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 p.m. until we realize. We will see. And, I'm working on a show about pubs. There is a crowdfunding campaign running for whoever watches, just in case you want to have a
Amazing.
look. There's going to be 20 pubs, 20 interviews, 5 different episodes. Each episode a different area in London. And Mark Stanley says Craft Theory 2022 would be awesome. So you have already someone buying tickets for it.
He's hoping, but if not, we're thinking about a digital one this year. So it's yeah.
Well, again, I've been asking this question through the last 10 months, and I'm really sorry, Anne-Marie. I can't avoid to asking you, but I have to do it. Do you see the future of our industry short term? Let's not think about too long term. Positive, partially positive, and if yes or no, what is the most important thing that we all should do from the industry and outside the industry to support the industry itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that togetherness, that community, connectivity with customers. We need to be supporting bottle shops, pubs, the restaurants we love. We need to be supporting them in any way we can. I believe. I was talking to a customer the other day, and we were talking about camera, and I think when it's safe, I think we need to be thinking about a campaign to get people back into pubs and drinking the craft beers they love. I think when it's like, as I'm saying, I'm going to definitely say when it's safe. But I'd love to see that from camera. I'd love to see a huge marketing campaign to sort of really sort of drive how important sort of pubs, bottle shops are to our sort of social well-being. It's hugely important. We're all missing it. We know, we're all missing that interaction of, I've had it the last week. You've got customers coming in going, we're down to 2 customers at a time at the moment. That's what that's where we are with the pandemic. We were 5 customers in our new shop, but we decided to change it to 2. But it's as I say, it's so important that we sort of support our pubs. Yeah.
Let me put it this way. We do have a question from Daniele Zaccarelli from Ora Brewing, and I would love to maybe wrap it up for today, because I promised and I was not going to go over 40 minutes, and not for any other reason.
I don't know. I'm having such a nice time. I didn't know how long we were chatting for. So.
It's 35 now. Well, it's great, but just saying. And Daniele are asking, with the lack of traveling and restrictions, do you think customers are more keen to local breweries or still open to experiment and try different things?
I think there's both sides of the coin. I think I'm definitely thinking about doing sort of a support local box on my website, but we all support nationally. I buy beer from everywhere, nationally, internationally.
Yep.
I think there's both. I think, I really think there's both sides of the coin, and I think, I think people are doing both, and I think what I have seen is people going, okay, these are my favorite breweries. These are the guys I want to support. These are my favorite sort of independent shops in my local area. I will support those guys. I do think you have this number of customers who were, straying away from supermarkets, definitely, and going, I'm going to buy myself some really good cheese to go with my really great beer, and I'm going to come to you. And I think that's, I think that's so heartwarming, and I'm literally feeling a bit teary. This is strange. But I think that's so important, and it's so nice that, and we talked about that integrity of working with your customers, and it's great. So I think there's both. I don't know. I think this everyone. I know a lot of people in Reading supporting nationally and then supporting local. They're doing it a bit of here, a bit of there. So
I'll tell you this: there is no one's going to stop me to have a mimolette with old beer from Düsseldorf, as much as no one can stop me to have some farmhouse cheddar with Burning Sky Brewery. So
Absolutely.
It's just about having great time, and I totally understand what you're standing for. It's like when the time is good and you're gonna be able to go for Monday, maybe eating, something like a pizza, on Tuesday like a pie, on Wednesday like some curry.
Absolutely.
Do not think, just thinking whatever I feel like. Okay, brilliant. And I would love to thank you for being with me today. It has been really, really, really nice to crack on the second season.
It's been so nice to do this. I really, really appreciate the opportunity, and just to share our little speck on the radar sort of story with you all. And if you see, a link to sort of the digital style craft theory, please jump on board. And maybe 2022 we'll see you in reality.
That we all hope about it. Again, I don't say to 2021 about about anything anymore. Just easy 2022, no problems. It's gonna be fine. And as I said, I remind you, we had a chat first time probably 3-4 years ago, and I still remind how cool it was. And I love to be here again with you, and I hope to come to see you to Reading as soon as possible.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you and share a beer. Totally.
And guys, in case you want to follow us again for the rest of the week, we're gonna have beautiful guests tomorrow, the day after, and the day after. We're having tomorrow Square Root Soda Maker from East London. And we're having New Zealand Beer Collective on Wednesday. And we're going to have the Black Hearts Camden Town on Thursday. And Anne-Marie, thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. Take care. Bye.